Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Ghost of Tsushima. I'm Serious JG. So yeah, last video was a little odd, very eventful story-wise, but then I got to a place where I wanted that weekend to get a little bourbon and coke and do some off-screen exploration. And for that reason, the video went way long as I waited to get to a position where I could do some off-screening. Well, I did that off-screening, and it's possible now I won't be doing any more. Because that was weeks ago now. I didn't do any more of the off screening I thought I might do because, well, for one thing, Christmas happened, and I got other games for Christmas as Christmas gifts. So the next time I felt like doing off screening, I played around with a different game, and now my big New Year's resolution. I don't know if I'll go all year, but I'm cutting back on the thing that I was using that I needed to do off screening nonsense for, which was having a bourbon and coke in the evenings on the weekends. I'm trying to cut back on that in large part because it's having a detrimental effect on my weight. But anyway, the point is, I don't know how many more of these big off-screening sessions we'll have. We might have them occasionally. But I'm going to give you the rundown on what happened during off-screening. Although I suppose I should put this on the map screen because I made notes on what I did. But as you can see, well, for one thing, we are now 23 of 24 liberated in the starting island because when I found out that they really just took the form of normal take over a place, the Mongols control this place, take it over, I did these farm missions that were mentioned the last time. But otherwise, I kind of beat a path around the coast. I think I found this is where the DLC that's available for the game is, I believe, because I think if you do this quest line here, where it says new explorable region, yeah, it came with the addition of the game I purchased because I didn't purchase this game; it was brand new. But there's a DLC based on oh god, I forget the name of. It's a real island because there's two Japanese islands that that the actual Mongols and Japanese forces fought infantry battles on. It's Tsushima Island and then another island before their big attempt to land on one of the main islands was thwarted by the famous historical tsunami. But which became known as the Divine Wind. Blah blah blah. But yeah, that's that. So I'm going to put that off. I don't want to start doing the DLC yet. We'll put that off at least until we finish the first two chapters of story and have only the last chapter of story to do, I would think. But I went around and found, okay, there are now things called duels. So I found this, and I don't have the dialogue written down, unfortunately, but a guy said something like it's a straw hat. Like various straw hat Ronin guys will show up, and there was one up here where I didn't quite trigger it, but somebody was saying, I heard you're the best. So I wanted to find out for myself. But this, I think there might have actually been, I feel bad now, because like I said, I did it with the alcohol in hand, but it was also weeks ago. Yeah, I think we actually had a little, the beginnings of dialogue with a straw hat, maybe even the lead straw hat guy. I don't remember. But I just managed to run away without attempting the duel. But it's a fast travel point. So otherwise, I kind of went through the swamp. This is one of those frustrating areas. I can't tell. I think I just beat a path along the side here, but sometimes it's hard to tell from the map whether or not you actually got exploration credit because it doesn't darken things that much. I would come across these side quests, and I wouldn't want to actually get too close and accidentally trigger dialogue that you guys would have wanted to hear. But I kind of came up this path here and all the way around and up into here. And we just have big random, basically the whole middle of the island is unexplored, but I kind of poked around the edges. We took over a couple of zones, etc. Any place where I could take over an area and get map completion without triggering unique dialogue or quest, I kind of did. So I made a notepad file with all the details here. With 5 of the 6 farms on that first island. When you finish them, you get a little bit of dialogue where the village leader will give you a key to some legendary armor. There's 6 keys, And the very first guy kind of like, I guess the dialogue's a little different from one village elder to the next. And one of them was even female. Like, it's not really a village elder. It was a young woman. Somebody in each village, after you've liberated it, gives you a special key. And I think just by chance, the very first one I liberated, the dialogue was kind of written in a way assuming you already knew what was going on. Because the guy says, go ahead and take it. The armor's just a legend anyway. It doesn't really exist. So I was going through this whole thing. Other people were like, this legendary armor would be of great use to you, my lord, in playing for free online. But I just happened to, the first one I got was the guy who's like, yeah, whatever. It's not real. You can go ahead and have the key. It's part of a fake legend. Anyway, and then somebody in the comments, I forget who, but I appreciated it, said, yeah, please do all the off-screening you want, but I want you to continue to give us a blow-by-blow on whether you petted each fox. So I did a total of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fox shrines. First one disappeared. Second one I petted. Third one I petted, so we had a good run going. Then one disappeared. Now we're even. Then I petted one. Then one disappeared. Then I petted one. So in fact, we petted 4 of 7 off-screen foxes. There was a scene where there's some Miko just kind of standing around near a giant, like, not a giant, it's a statue of a toad, right? Which has, like, significance in Japanese culture. And there's a Miko. Clearly she's dressed as a Miko, and she's standing around near a toad, and she explained fox shrines. Like, there's this dialogue where she says that, like, oh, the fox kami, follow those spirits, and they may reward you, my lord. And I'm like, we're on the second island, and I've already gotten dozens of these things, but okay. We got the Moon Bear Paws gear for the samurai who is both playful and deadly for the description. And I think I might have gotten one other vanity gear that I forgot to write down the name of. We encounter some woman who, like, this was the one I think where you free her from Mongols. And she tells us about a camp full of giant Mongols with hands as big as her head. And that marked on the map one of the locations where you can fight and liberate an area. And we may have even done this one. But she said that the giant Mongols with hands big as your head. Some lady told us about a refugee camp where people keep disappearing. That marked a quest. We got Warrior's Faith gear. We got a special straw hat. I wrote down special straw hat and then in quotation marks marsh. I don't know what that means now. We got hunting bear gear. Bishamon's fortune gear. As you can see, like if I came across... haiku, I wouldn't do them because I figured there might be some interest for you guys seeing those. But if it's just they came across a weapon shrine and you can just get a weapon, I went ahead and did that. I didn't bother to save that for on-screen action. So quite a few of these are like hunting bear gear, Bishamon's fortune gear. We came across some monk who told us about shrines. Like literally, we just found a monk somewhere. And he had like recorded dialogue saying, oh, there are shrines throughout the land. If you visit these shrines, the kami will reward you with special items. And it's like, again, we've already done several of these. But I suppose if you're just playing through the main story and the quests and you're not really doing a lot of exploring, maybe it's handy to have these little clues about things you could be doing off to the side. Some guy mentioned a woman whose family was killed by bandits who would, in this part I put in quotes, appreciate the comfort of a samurai. Now, I don't remember if he was particularly like... I don't think he sounded like sleazy about it, like, I appreciate the comfort of a samurai, know what I mean, nudge, nudge, say no more. But that piece of dialogue stuck in my head. And again, some of these, you just find a person, and if you talk to them, there's a little short piece of voice acted. It's usually not even dialogue, it's usually just a monologue. Jin may or may not even respond to the person, but it's just they'll deliver some little voice acted thing, and a place will be marked on your map. That's why we have quite a few little optional quests marked on the map. And the last thing I have noted here is some lady mentions a guy defending a statue from vandals. So that also would have marked as a quest. All right, it's kind of a relief to be playing the game again now because I was goofing around with it off screen. I was having fun with it, but then I set it down to play off screen because I don't know if I'm going to eventually Let's Play Tales of Arise. I think I probably will. But that's one of the games I got for Christmas, and I had this notion, well, I'll have it be a thing I play while not recording, and I'll get to the point where I've unlocked, because usually the game is less than halfway over before you've got all the party members. Like, well, maybe I'll get most of the party members, or the party members I think I'll use, and then that'll be a thing where I can just grind for levels in that game. So that's, I don't know. But anyway, there's a couple of things. We've now got we can get Dance of Wrath for pursuing this. We can get Gosaku's armor. But the thing is, there were what I want to do next is I guess it's time to show this. I got sick. The combat is harder on it. The combat difficulty has increased. I was taking a lot of damage. I'm still, even though I felt like I'd gotten better, and now I feel like the timing is either tightened up or I was just had more bourbon in that Coke than I meant to have. But I was failing the standoff frequently and then getting into these prolonged fights and barely keeping even as far as like maintaining resolve, because you know, all I have to do because I have the charm that gives you health back when you're not in combat, I just have to survive combat, but sometimes even that involves eating through all your resolve. So I did end up I wasn't going to do this because it's not the best combat armor that you can get, but I did fully upgrade the Samurai Clan armor. But I'm still anxious to find a better combat armor. There's a combat armor which has the special power of increasing your you get that thing where you do the standoff challenge. There's an armor you can get where you can actually increase the number of enemies that you fight with a standoff challenge. So like you can, and with the standoff challenge, it really is the first standoff is the timing I'm having trouble with. But if you get it, the follow-ups are easy. So like being able to kill 5 people by winning one standoff would hugely increase my chances of winning in these things. But still not doing anything with that. Yeah, and I ended up boosting the bonus armor. No, I didn't. This one's fully upgraded. This one and this one. I kept being tempted to increase Traveler's Attire because it's what I wear most of the time. But the thing you get for upgrading to level 4 is just not useful. It's already kind of like about as useful as it's going to be with one little thing. It would be a matter of upgrading it for the sake of upgrading it. Whereas the Samurai Clan armor really did... I was getting more resolve gains, and that was a problem I was having. I was running out of resolve. All right. But it's time for us to actually... did I upgrade my swords at all? We're not quite... I was doing some, like... I got to the point where I could sell... If I came across a lot of bamboo, I could sell it periodically. I was selling predator hides. I think our capacity for these Wappets may... We may have run out of things that we can do to upgrade. Unless we come across new types of Wappets. We're pretty much maxed out on what we can do with those. So yeah, anything like animal hides, predator hides, which are for upgrading capacity of sticky bombs and stuff, I can sell those for money now. I'm trying to actually... And I actually got to the point where I would buy materials sometimes. I'm trying to get to where we'll be able to upgrade the new armors when we get the armors. And I'd really like to, as early as possible, just max out the katana. It's going to be our main weapon. There's no reason not to have it as powerful as it can possibly be as soon as you possibly can. So let's actually get on with playing now that I spent half a video telling you what you missed. We've got... Major Legend increase, Sakai Clan armor. I think this is the one I want to do next. Sakai Clan armor would be helpful. There's Ghost armor, which would be, I think, even better, but I don't know how to get that, and I could look it up. Maybe it will just tell me, actually. Maybe I'll just find one. If I could just find it right here. No. That's the DLC. Gosaku's armor is not the same as the Ghost armor. So we haven't actually just stumbled across the quest for Ghost armor yet. I don't know what the prerequisites are to do it. So let's mark this as Ghosts from the Past as our active quest. But you know what? No, there's something we should do first. We're going to do the final farm. So that we can be completely done with the first island. Kenji is an always scheming merchant and sake brewer whose humorous exterior we're not allowed to hear anything more about. Yeah, I was playing this game a lot, and now I've stepped away from it for days, like weeks, because I got pretty far ahead, and then I just stopped. I guess it hasn't been that long. It's just it's been probably about 2 weeks. You know, there's absolutely no reason to be using this traveler's attire because we fully upgraded, or we fully explored this island. So there's no reason whatsoever to be using the traveler's attire. We're still dressed up as the White Angel Hakushi. And I guess I did. What did I do? What did I do off screen as far as our appearance goes? I'm sticking with our White Angel Hakushi getup, although I guess we could change that. But oh, I know what I did. I ditched the hats because we were going around wearing straw hats, which the White Angel Hakushi would definitely be wearing during his ring entrance in the WWE. You all know exactly what I'm talking about, obviously. But I kind of we've been betrayed by the Straw Hat Ronin. They are like a rover. Like you can have just random encounters with Straw Hat Ronin on the second island. They will become just a hostile enemies that you have to deal with, and they are not that easy to deal with. Honestly, they're pretty rough. So I didn't feel like I should be dressed as, like, you know, I'm a wannabe member of their group, because their group has betrayed us and betrayed Japan, essentially. I think there's going to be, I don't know what's going to happen in the second and third act of the story, but it's pretty clear that the guy who was our ally and betrayed us and has joined that, like, he's not happy about it. He's not, like, swirling his mustache and going, yeah, ha, ha. But also, I don't know that he's going to get an opportunity to redeem himself. I think it might be part of the tragedy of the game is that this guy is feels forced to betray us. That his honor is gone. But he always felt that as a Ronin, he was never given the proper opportunities. Like, whatever. We're not getting special objectives for how to clear this place. Maybe I already... It may be that I already wandered around here. Oh, here we go. Rescue the hostages. Bonus damage with a sticky bomb. So the thing about these is that they will start killing hostages. I'm not finding an obvious place to... Harvo? Did he say D's nutso? Yeah, he keeps saying D's nutso. That's obviously not what he's saying. But. So it would be nice to kill guys or damage guys with kunai, but I'm going to have to find opportunities. Might as well just get it all now. Oh boy, I'm in real trouble because I've just realized I don't remember what all the buttons do. Okay, well I sliced that peasant in the face and they were okay with it, so I guess I didn't need to be too worried about the sticky bombs. Alright, well I got my bonus from the sticky bombs by just throwing them around willy-nilly, so now I'll be obsessing about replacing my lost sticky bombs, but it's a small price to pay for having successfully murdered a bunch of Mongols and gotten bonus experience. Combat around here should be pretty lax compared to what I've been experiencing on the second island. There was a, like, maybe it's just me, like I said, I might have mixed those bourbon and cokes a little stronger than I meant to, but there seemed to be a marked increase in the difficulty of just random fights against the Mongols. They did say something in the dialogue about how you were fighting, like, elite troops now, or I guess they had members of, like, the B squad that we were fighting before, but now we're fighting, like, the elite tiger infantry or whatever. Hey, you would. Yeah, that guy that you were worried about was really far away and looking insistently away from you.
It's over. Thank you. You're safe now. Bandits took my fishing nets. What am I supposed to eat? Tree roots?
They took my fishing nets. What am I supposed to eat? I was really looking forward to eating those fishing nets. No, it's pretty clear what he's getting at. I'm being a silly. Alright, well, we're not done yet. These fishing villages tend to consist of one hostage surrounded by a bunch of guys. Well, it's not the fishing villages, they're just farms in general, but... But they had been making them pretty far apart, or at least this one. That's definitely what they're doing. So it's like 3 separate little mini infiltration missions. Oh, 4 rather. There's a bunch of people to be rescued. So you can go for, a more aggressive approach. If you get to, generally your best idea is to try stealth until you can't try stealth anymore. The only problem is if you try stealth and then get detected, you might get detected when you're in kind of a bad situation. The ideal is pick guys off the side until you can't really do that anymore. But quit before you hit a point where... If you can quit before you hit a point where they're, oh, crap, here we go. I got one. No, see, that this is what you can't have. He's gonna go over there and murder some people. Rather than... So somebody else killed the hostage while I was stopping the guy who was killing the hostage. Or different hostages somewhere got killed. I messed up for sure. The question now is, do we have to do everything over again, or do I get credit for the one hostage we already rescued? Because I didn't get my sticky bombs back. Oh, I have a new kill enemies with half bow. So we did get credit for that hostage, but we lost
Be dead.
our bonus. So they gave us a new bonus, probably because we don't have enough sticky bomb ammo left to actually get the bonus. Well, half bow might work to our advantage. If I can avoid getting caught by like the very first freaking guy. Okay, well if they don't, I don't think they start killing hostages until they spotted me. Knowing that I'm out here doesn't seem to be enough. So they'll blow alarms and shit, but they won't actually. Okay. Fortunately, leading them in the wrong direction doesn't help you that much. Oh, they're climbing around on the roof. Amen. Camera, that wasn't helpful. Well, once again, I'm back to where I have credit for the bonus. But I still gotta rescue these peoples without And somebody did come up on the roof looking for me, which was shows that they have some capacity for learning. Well, who heard? Oh. See, I thought they were suggesting that somebody actually heard me, and I thought I'd kind of cleared everybody with that assassination.
You'll be free soon.
I'd given up hope before you came.
Anyway, please clean up your headband. It's disturbing me.
Sunfu River sounds nice right about now.
What? I don't understand why they gossip about something about the river sounds nice about now. Thank you for making sure I wasn't murdered. Now I'm going to complain about my fishing nets. Anyway, alright, well, when we come back next time, we'll see if I can be a little better about the next two rescues so that I avoid having to earn the bonus a third or fourth time. See you then.